So they opened up the program the night before the 4th of July, the beach breaking in Chicago with the mobsters' bodies. Renee Moxley Good is in the back with Daniel Garcia and Daddy Mac. Now, I know that we can't all be Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? But, and I know they wanted to start telling a story at the beginning of the program and carry it through to the end of the program. But when the first faces you see are Danny Garcia's and Daddy Mac's, when on the other channel you're seeing the Bloodline come to the ring, or you see Drew McIntyre come to the ring. Do you smell what I'm cooking, Brian? Is this the first good visual?
It was even worse what she said, because it makes you wonder what AEW's thinking right now. They introduced him. The first words out of her mouth were, the backbone of AEW.
Yes.
Daniel Garcia.
And apparently they're going to try to make that become a thing. In that case, if I would get a brace, because I'm afraid they're going to develop scoliosis. And Garcia does the promo on Ostrich, and then MJF walks in, thankfully fairly quickly. But now you've got the top guy in the company, again, basically staring these two guys in the face. But MJF's telling him to focus. I'm going to be in your corner tonight if you'll have me. Well, of course, and then Daddy Mac shakes MJF's hand. And again, they're trying to tell a story. I applaud him for that. Garcia's, I'm sorry, lost cause to this point until he grows up, gets older, gets a physique, gets a personality, gets a gimmick, gets a goddamn face that you want to look at. And, anyway, it's at least he'll serve a purpose later on. But do you have any thoughts about the Open before we get into the Owen Hart tournament?
I mean, I agree with you. I think Garcia's okay for a young guy on the card, but they're trying to elevate him and he's not ready. And that's been a story of him and Wheeler Yuta. Tony and certain wrestlers decided these were the guys a few years ago that they were going to do everything they could to elevate and bring up, and it just hasn't taken because they were the wrong guys at that moment.
Sure they're wonderful guys. I'm sure they're very nice people.
But it's not taking. And he's not the backbone of AEW. And when all of a sudden you introduce someone who isn't the backbone as being the backbone, you're lying to your audience. And I don't know, in terms of his facial reactions, he kind of reminds me, remember Uncle Floyd's puppet Oogie? I don't know if you ever saw Uncle Floyd, the Uncle Floyd show.
No, they had. I think they'd put Uncle Floyd in the big house by the time that I got around there.
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Oogie a little bit. And yeah, I mean, this is setting up other things, and this is basically just coming off MJF establishing himself as their friend a week ago.
Yeah, there's been this long running, bond of respect. Well, that's good. Tony can't. For a person who is so detail-oriented, Tony Khan cannot think ahead. Either that, he's never got his balance under him thinking about this week to think ahead. So these things just come up when they're necessary. Oh, I need you guys to have been lifelong friends next week. Anyway,